happens with the actions of God. You never know what's going to happen on 3D Politics Live. I'm Tom McKay, David Van, David Oldham. We were just finishing up a discussion about Jason Lowe's district and Tim Harper, and it got us into a discussion of gun rights.
But I want to say Jason Lowe prides himself in being called what's the highest honor in the black community, that's being a civil rights leader. And he could be nothing further from civil rights.
Right, when he's fighting against your civil rights.
Absolutely.
And the civil rights of all of us.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Tell us about the story out of Florida.
Florida, just this week, a couple of stories. Florida, there was a man, a husband, being beaten up on his front lawn, porch and front lawn. People trying to vandalize the home, break in, do a home invasion, and he's trying to defend the home, but he's doing it, unfortunately, barehanded.
Coming from the story here, New York Post. They came in heavily hooded and masked. The husband, Jeremy King, told Bay News 9, as soon as they had got the back door open, they had a pistol on me and was grabbing my 11-year-old daughter. The robbers then pistol whipped King and kicked him while the man's wife, who was 8 months pregnant, retreated to the bedroom. When he came toward the back door in her line of sight, she clipped him. King told the outlet, he made it from my back door to roughly 200 feet out the front ditch before the AR did its thing.
That's right.
Pregnant woman shot a beast that broke into his home.
Yes. And this is why we need our First Amendment rights.
And you know
our Second Amendment rights.
This is why we need all of the firearms. The AR-15 is a great women's gun.
Oh, yes.
It is. It doesn't have the kick of a 30-06, which, believe me, that's what I use. It's a beast, you know. But an AR-15 does a great. It still is lethal. It doesn't, blow your eardrums, from the sound. It's just a great gun.
Right here, before the guy was able to dial 911, he got a fractured eye socket, a fractured sinus cavity, and a concussion. After the thing was over, he had 20 stitches and 3 staples in his head.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know how much good dialing 911 would have done. I would have just said, honey, get the AR-15.
Here's to all the mama bears.
What was the other one out of Florida?
No, it's out of Colorado.
Oh, that's right.
A similar kind of a story. Man in the middle of the night trying to break into somebody's house. Nobody knows why or what for, but he was repeatedly warned that the man inside the house had a gun. And I don't remember if he was actually able to break through or if he was shot through the door.
12:44 a.m. right there, and the sun. Department suspect identified as 25-year-old Aaron Rivers attempting to break in through the front door. Homeowner told the suspect to leave several times, warning I had a gun. 25-year-old proceeded to break in. I just feel sorry for my neighbors over there. They're a nice couple. They have a little boy. Kathy Parsons, a neighbor across the street, told television station the guy started to beat down the front door, and I was afraid he had a gun ready for him to come through.
Yeah.
Yep. And, so here's a man protecting his wife and child.
Rivers was struck in the arm. The
yes,
guy breaking
he was not killed, and so he will stand trial. But again, there's been no explanation as to why he was doing what he was doing. I look forward to seeing what might come from that.
Yeah.
Fox News, Colorado.
Yeah, I want to say this. A lot of you are now looking at the opportunity to bear arms. You don't have to pay for your classes, your license, and all of those things. So you can just spend that money on getting a decent personal protection weapon. There's something I've said in the past when we've talked about police issues and screw-ups like in Fort Worth. Who's training these people? Because in the time of crisis, you're going to instinctively go to your training.
Yes.
Where am I going with this? It's this point. If you've got a gun, but you've not put any training, any discipline, even if it's a YouTube video that you follow, I don't care what it is, get some training.
Right.
I've got a dear friend, Debbie and I, it's some years back, but she went through a horribly messy divorce with a very unstable ex-husband, and she was living several states away. Here in Tulsa, school teacher. A man comes into his house. We don't know because nobody was found out, but they know that she was shot with her own gun because she
Right.
retreated to her room to grab her gun, but she didn't have the nerve to pull the trigger.
Right.
And believe me, a thug, especially a hitman, is going to seize on that. And unfortunately, she's dead. Her little girl is an orphan.
Well, and
Because-
911 wouldn't help her either. Then.
Yeah.
No, nobody could have helped
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Seconds counted.
And again, you've got to know that if you're going to put your fingers around that grip, you're going to probably have to use it. You have to have that mindset.
Right.
So I'm just saying that there are people that are glad that you don't have to go through all the rigmarole. Still put yourself through your own rigmarole. Get with some friends for some training.
Well, let's talk about this because liberty doesn't come without responsibility.
Absolutely.
And so we are responsible for the handling of that weapon. So if you choose to take up a weapon, although the requirements aren't up front, you don't have big bad government telling you no.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't mean that you aren't still responsible for everything that you
Yeah.
put that weapon through.
Yeah, believe
And
me. Yeah.
and so if you mishandle that weapon, you are fully responsible for it and deserve the full retribution of the law because that's our protection against irresponsibility.
You heard it, Steve Kunzweiler. That came from David Oldham. He's so proud of you right now.
Well, no, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Steve's got it flipped on its head. He wants to criminalize, permission.
I know. But I'm glad you said that. I think it's very important to say.
It's vital for our society.
Okay, let's